Thank you. I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order at 10:04 for the Truckee Meadows Water Authority Board of Directors. Can we get a roll call, please?
Anderson?
Here.
Andriola?
Present.
Dewar? Online, but she is muted.
Okay.
Hello?
Oh, there we go. We can hear you.
Yeah.
Can you?
I cannot hear you very well. Sorry.
Okay. And Member Dewar is joining us via Zoom. Hill?
Here.
Martinez?
Here.
Taylor? Here. Vanderwell?
Here.
Zimmerman? Here. Julia? Here. We have a quorum, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We'll now move to the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Ramon, would you be so kind to lead us? Or Raymond? Mr. Will.
Will Raymond.
Will Raymond. I said Ramon, but I meant Raymond.
I got you. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll move to public comment. Do we have any public comment?
I do not have any cards.
Okay. If anybody is wanting public comment, well, you'll need to meet Sonia over here.
Is anybody online wishing to provide public comment? Please raise your hand. I do not have anyone.
Thank you. Okay, we'll close the public comment and move to any board comments or acknowledgements at this time. Ms. Dorr, do you have anything?
Not under this item. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll move to the approval of the agenda and entertain a motion at this time, please.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Mr. Anderson and a second from Ms. Hill. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We'll move now to the approval of the minutes of June 18th, 2025. Are there any changes? Anyone would like to make any notations or edits? Hearing none, I'd like to entertain a motion at this time, please.
To approve.
We have a motion from Ms. Helm.
Second.
We have a second from Ms. Vanderwell. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We'll move now to an update regarding TMWA's hydroelectric facilities and operations. Mr. Dixon and Mr. Barnes.
Good morning, Board. For the record, Ryan Dixon. I'm here with Jason Barnes this morning. We're excited to be with you. This is something that's been with TMWA for the last 25 years and something that we're pretty excited to talk about. Jason and I have had unique experiences. We started out in the engineering department working on these facilities, and there's a lot of work to do going forward, so we're excited to talk about the history and also the future of our hydroelectric facilities. Just for clarity, I will be referring to these facilities as hydros going through this program, through this presentation. So the generation department is made up of two different divisions. We have our diesel generation, which helps whenever line utility goes down. When utility power is not available, we have a number of generators that are scattered throughout our distribution system, and they help keep the water production facilities operating and the booster power stations, booster pump stations running as well. There are 9 people that are in our generation department, and a few of those are here with us today, and we'll go over that. Next slide.
Jason Barnes for the record. This is a slide of the history of Sierra Pacific as it pertains to their power assets or their water assets for both potable use and hydroelectric generation use. Going from the earliest known record, we have in 1867, there was the Virginia City Gas Company. This was actually the beginning of our hydro needs in this community, where they wanted to move away from an expensive coal electric source and go to hydroelectric. Another notable portion of this is the Tahoe water rights from the 1870s, when the lake was originally called Lake Bigler and later turned to Lake Tahoe. It's kind of interesting tidbit of information. The Truckee River General Electric Company was formed in 1869. And then the first hydropower plant was Farad in 1899. And again, that was used for the Virginia City silver mining operations. Interestingly, there was another hydroelectric station that was built about 6 months after that. That's the Reno Hydro. That was decommissioned in the 1960s, and that's located down by Idlewild Park. The building still exists there. Tom was actually looking at purchasing that for another pump station reconstruction. In the flood of 97, the Farad facility was wiped out, and it has not been a functioning asset since. You also see Hunter Creek Reservoir, that's potable water, the Highland Ditch in 1879. And for our hydro facilities that are actively functioning right now, we have Flash Hydroelectric in 1904, Washoe also in 1904, and then the Verdi plant in 1912. All three of those are still operating today. And we'll talk more about improvements that we're looking at.
So starting in the bottom left of this slide here, you see the Farad hydro plant. As Jason mentioned, it is the oldest of the facilities that we operated. Farad has not been in operation since the 97 flood, and we have since sold that property, so it is no longer an asset of TMWA. As we move down the river, right on the California border, you see our Flash hydro facility. It is the largest of our hydro facilities in that it can produce a maximum of 2.5 megawatts. We do have some improvements planned that we're hoping will increase that production up by about 30%. It was, as Jason mentioned, put into production in 1905. As we go downriver, we arrive at the Verdi hydro facility. It produces upwards of 2.4 megawatts. It came into production in 1911, and many of you are familiar with this location because it is where we hold our annual picnic. And so you may have gone through a tour at that site at some point in time. We regularly hold tours for the public at that facility. And then as we move downriver, we have our Washoe hydro facility, which is the oldest of the facilities that are currently in operation. It was put in operation in 1904, so it's now 114 years old, or 111 years old, if my math is right. It is getting old and tired. As a matter of fact, we've had to do a number of improvements to the turbines themselves, including welding, and at this point in time, they need to be replaced. The turbines are at the end and beyond the end of their lifespan. And then an interesting fact is we have a new hydro facility that will be coming online. It's associated with the Oreditch Booster Pump Station. It will be used in the off-peak months using some of the existing facilities at the Chalk Bluff Water Treatment Plant. We'll be taking water from the plant down through penstock, essentially, to the turbines. It will be located behind the meter, meaning that we will be using that power at Chalk Bluff, and it will be offsetting our electric costs there, one of our more expensive utility bills that TMWA is responsible for. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about revenue. So over the last couple of years, we've highlighted, we've set records in both generation and revenue. In 2024, we produced over 55,000 megawatts and $4.2 million in revenue. And then we just about duplicated that this year. We just missed a generation record this year. So the team has done a wonderful job of keeping those facilities up, keeping them running, and preparing us for the future.
So on to some capital projects. As Ryan mentioned, Flash has got an opportunity to increase its current production. We have a couple different avenues how we're going to see this. First off, this facility is allocated an additional 50 CFS from the Farad settlement. That 50 CFS can be realized by doing a couple of improvements along this conveyance system. What that looks like is increasing the flume height from 8 feet to 9 feet. We've been currently doing these projects over the last 10 years and increasing that height. This coming fiscal year in '26, we'll be looking to finish the last portions of those flumes to get them up to that 9-foot level so we can accept 50 CFS. Also included in that, we'll need to analyze the forebay to see what we need to do to accept that additional flow. With that additional flow, we'll be able to generate more power. Other improvements on this are the upper canal. We're going to be doing some work there so we can get our guys to access the complete length of our system. Right now that we're limited in this one particular area. Down to the powerhouse, we've got a couple of projects going on. One is going to rewind the existing generator. It's approaching 50 years old as far as like the windings on the inside. That's a bunch of copper, and they get old and they wear out and they don't produce as well. And they also generate excess heat load from them being antiquated. When that gets rewound, we'll see some efficiency gains there. Consultants are telling us about 30% efficiency at the high end. That coupled with an additional 50 CFS, we could see a lot more generation from this existing facility. But with that existing increase in generation, we'll also increase the heat load. So we're looking to do some improvements to the HVAC system here. It currently has just some fans and some porta-cools blowing on it. That's necessary because the equipment is sensitive, and above 90 to 100 degrees, it starts to get a little cranky, and we have to turn down the power a little bit. So with this HVAC system, we'll be able to run it at peak capacity. And anticipated construction, I think we're going to start a little sooner than that, a year sooner than that. So that's a little update.
So at all these facilities, you're going to see we have some improvements that need to be done. Again, with the age of them, there's a lot of maintenance and improvements that need to be made, starting with Verdi, a site that you guys are familiar with. If you travel upriver along the canal, we have a sand gate that needs to be done. It is currently losing some water, and it diminishes the amount of production that we can produce during certain periods of the year when river flows are down. So hoping that will increase efficiency as well. Bypass and tail race, penstock, we have about $1 million of work there, and about $500,000 in the conveyance system as well. This work has actually been on the books. If you've looked at our CIP for the last couple of years, we've pushed those off because we've had really good water years, and we wanted to produce more power during that time. And we've seen that with the production amounts and the revenue that we've seen over the last few years.
and onto our Washoe. So Washoe, as Ryan mentioned, is our oldest facility. This one's extra unique. They had used a different type of generator system. This is like a pressure case. Those became antiquated probably 30 years after they were invented, and nobody uses them. So we're having to completely demolish this entire facility and start over. But we have a benefit of getting near completion of the ore ditch project, and we can use the exact type of layout and type of turbines in this new construction. So we've learned some lessons on that project. We're going to employ all those ideas here, and hopefully we'll get this to go a little bit more smoothly. Anticipated construction is around August 2027, and my most recent schedule looks like we could get done ahead of 29, late fall, winter 28.
So to keep these facilities up and running, we need a team to do so. A few of those team members are here today. I'll ask them to acknowledge themselves. We got Jason McDaniel, Jake, and Cameron Schultz in the audience. Not everyone was able to make it. We still need to keep our facilities up and running. So there are a few out, but we wanted to acknowledge that team. And absent from this picture, I'll mention is Everett Easley as well. So it takes a team to do this work. We're excited for the future. As you can see, there's a lot of projects going forward, and we'll talk about those more in a minute. But appreciate your time, and if there are any questions, we're open to take those now.
And Chair Andriola, so this agenda item was meant to give all board members kind of an overview of our hydroelectric plants. It also, dovetails nicely into the next agenda item, so we can either answer questions now or do it in the next agenda item. It's up to the board.
I'll just reach out to the board if anybody has any questions, or we'll dovetail. It is a discussion item. Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, so if I saw that correctly, they're all looking to come down for construction around the same time? Is that correct? And then will they all, I don't remember completion on all of them. Are we estimating all the completion for about 2 years?
No. We're looking at Flash and Verdi are going to go off in like summer of 26, late summer 26. They are due to come back on probably early spring of 27. And then Washoe will go offline late summer 27 and come back online late 28. That's anticipated, hopefully.
Okay. And then just a side note, and I don't know if you guys would know that, but I mean, we were looking at the revenue going, wow, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What revenue loss are we looking at for that construction period? Do we know that yet, or anticipating what we're gonna be looking at that point?
I don't actually have those numbers right offhand, but you could probably say in one given year, for like 26, 27 year, you're probably gonna lose half the revenue because you're gonna have 2 facilities down for that time. But I can get better numbers on that.
Thank you, and I want to say to you guys on the generation side, great job. It's great being able to see that revenue come in and that it's clean energy, and likewise, we can, actually make some money off of it.
I would also mention that it's not just the hydroelectric facilities they take care of. They're also part of our generation team. So when NV Energy is doing PSOM or de-energization, these are the guys out in the field making sure our pump stations and stuff stay online.
So,
Yes, and I commend the work as well, because this has been the priority of the board to see how we can make sure that we're being as energy efficient as we can be. So thank you for that. And on the construction, we are bidding, I'm assuming bidding out for those jobs? Or are we doing
The
them internally?
Flash and Verdi will be bid jobs. We're
Okay.
looking to go CMAR for
Okay.
Washoe.
Okay.
It's a complicated project, and it's really beneficial to get a contractor
Okay.
involved in the design process for something like that.
Got it. And that will all come to the board eventually, or no? How does that work? Those kind of,
For the CMAR,
yeah.
I'm not, I know we've done that in the past. We've come to the board for certain things, but it's not as big as like APWF.
Danny Rotter, Director of Engineering for the record. How we have done that in the past and will do it going forward, it will be during budget time.
Okay.
So any of those during budgets, you'll be approving those.
All right, but not that process
Correct.
necessarily.
Yeah. So we'll be focusing, that's why that budget is real important to look at each of those capital.
And then the
projects.
general manager signs off on
Correct.
the particular project.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
It's just good for us to also talk about generating jobs, and so,
Yeah.
probably something we should highlight as well as part of the project, so thank you.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Mr. Anderson?
Just one follow-up question. On something you said in the presentation, I think it was at Verdi, mentioned losing water. And can you explain what that means? I imagine it's getting by without actually going into the turbine, is that?
Yeah, no, I appreciate the opportunity to follow up on that. So our sand gate is actually located and it sends water back to the river. It's an area where, if we have debris or anything come into the facility, we allow it to go out. And along with all that water, it ends up going back directly to the river. So that water is not lost. And I probably should not have said that. It's just we're not able to take advantage of it and put it through the turbine itself.
Not fully efficient.
That's correct. That's correct. And one other thing I want to mention is along Jason's timelines that he has, because these are located along the river, the Verdi project in particular, we need a low water year, actually, in order to do this project. If water levels are too high, then it hinders our ability to work efficiently. So that's another reason why, some of these timelines are anticipated and they could shift.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Stewart, do you have anything?
No, I'm good. I appreciated all of the conversation. Thank you.
I have a couple.
I mean, let me just say, I will add one thing. I'm incredibly impressed by the operation, and like Chair Anderson said, I'm so appreciative of the fact that we can both self-supply, and I think we've discussed potentially selling to others if we have more than we need. So anyway, I really appreciate this adjunct to what TMWA does. So thanks.
Thank you. I just have a couple items. One is that the newest plant, just piggybacking off for Member Anderson's comment about some of the dollars, that you specifically mentioned that there's an offset when that comes online, and Chalk Bluff will benefit from that. And I'm just wondering, it doesn't have to worry about it right now, but it would be helpful to see what those dollars and that offset is as well. So as you're looking at that kind of a presentation, I think that would be helpful. And then the second thing is, to your point on Verdi and the annual picnic or celebration, employee appreciation. I had the pleasure of going through the tour, and it's really amazing to see it. And more importantly, I think it's amazing to appreciate that 1911, you almost wonder how things were transported. And I know that we really, it was a different time and a different focus, right, with Virginia City and all of the boom that was going on. But I think it's really amazing how you've taken this technology that even those that are outdated and only lasted the 30 years and looking at preserving that, and then the benefit to our community and the benefit to not only creating jobs, but the offset of additional funding opportunities, I think are great. So thank you for doing all of your hard work. But this is, unless there's any other questions, Mr.
Thank
Are
you
you
so
ready?
much. Yes, I just had a
Miss-
quick question.
Go for it.
I appreciate it, Madam Chair. Thank you for the presentation. With the upgrades and the new construction that's coming, I'm just wondering if on that slide 3 where you showed the output of each hydro facility, if you could if you have any estimates of any changes on the output that will happen based on these changes that you're
Like the
suggesting.
improvement.
Yeah, like you're saying 2.4 megawatts per hour at Verdi, would that remain the same after the upgrades are changed? I'm just wondering, curious of what the changes would be.
At Verdi, we don't anticipate any additional increase in power production. At Flash, it could 30%, might be like an average number. We're not really sure. We're very early in the design phases of that. And at Washoe, we also have an opportunity to increase the efficiency and a little bit of head, which head is necessary for generating power also. So we're looking at potentially 15% increase at Washoe as well.
Now, I don't mean to step on Jason here, but at Verdi, with the Sandgate improvements, there are periods of the year where we might even be able to stay in production where we're not able to now because of that water that we lose back to the river. So we could see some increases in certain situations, but that max production will, as Jason alluded to, will stay the same.
So even if the max amount stays the same, maybe the annual output could change a little bit.
Depending on the year and the amount of water in the river, yes, it could
Okay.
increase. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other questions? Again, this was a discussion item, so we'll close 7 and move into 8, which is the discussion, and this is an action item for the board authorization of TMWA to enter into a power purchase agreement with Switched On LLC for the sale of hydroelectric power commencing in May of 2028. Mr. Bowman and Mr. Dixon, thank you.
Good morning. Again, Ryan Dixon. I'm the Director of Distribution Services, and really excited about this agenda item. As you can see, we have a lot of work, and I don't know if you guys were keeping track of those numbers, but at Flash, we have about $10 million worth of work. At Verdi, it's several million, and at Washoe, it's upwards of 15 million just in the next few years. And so as we were looking at the budget, as Matt and I sat down and we started going through this, and we knew we were coming near the end of our existing PPAs, which expire in 28 and 29 for all these facilities. We didn't think it was very wise for us to move into these projects without a partner, without someone to sell this energy to. We could potentially be stuck with all these construction costs and fees. And so we decided to go out for a request for offers for this power.
Yep. So Matt Bowman, CFO for the record. I'll continue from there. As Ryan said, we started looking at these big dollars that we needed to invest. And anytime you're going to make a substantial long-term investment, you want to make sure you've got some certainty on the back end of that. And we were starting to look at, and really as early as 2020, we started to recognize that, hey, we got 8-9 years left on our existing PPAs, and we're talking about investment that we want to amortize over 20 plus years, 30 years. I mean, you see the life of these hydros. We want to keep running them for another 100 years. And so it requires some investment. And so fast forward to late 2023, we engaged a consultant and we put out a request for offers. That went out January of 24, and we received 4 offers. We received an offer from NV Energy, who is our current partner with our current PPA, UAMPS, Google, and Switch. Those were the 4 entities that came in with offers. Ultimately, Switch came and their offer was better than the others by a decent margin. And really, the terms of that offer, as you see in the staff report, is $120 per megawatt hour, 1% escalator over 20 years. So it's close to a 50% increase over where the expiration of the PPAs will be in 2028 and 2029. And like we've been talking about, and like you saw in the last agenda item, there's substantial investment that needs to be made. This PPA ensures that we can make that investment responsibly to our ratepayers and move forward from there. So, we're excited. As Ryan said, this is a good deal for TMWA. We're excited with our future partnership with Switch as well.
Yeah, and we want to acknowledge Switch, who have representatives here with us today. We've got John Hughes and Elise Porto in the audience. We appreciate them being here, and they've been supportive of these projects going forward. We looked at a number of different ways that, we could fund this project, and I think that that's reflected in the PPA and the offer that they put forward to us. They partnered with us throughout the duration of the last year, helping us, wrap together what is a pretty complicated document that I believe offers TMWA more flexibility than what we have existing currently, and that will limit our liability and the liability to the ratepayers going forward with what we have in place.
Yep, so just to wrap, we're asking for the board's approval, authorization for the general manager to execute the contract. It would take effect upon the expiration of the existing PPAs in 2028 and 2029.
Thank you, and thanks for all your hard work on that as well, because it definitely was a process. And I'll just go ahead and ask if any, yes, Member Taylor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have a couple questions, and I talked to the executive director a little bit about this. You touched on it's going to alleviate some of the risk and liability for this organization moving forward. If you could just maybe talk a little bit about that. Maybe you want to give us a brief paragraph. But my other question is, on the 1% annual escalation, how did you determine that that was going to be sufficient for a 20, 30-year agreement?
Yeah, so I'll take the 1%er first. So that's the current escalation we have right now with our PPAs, and really as you would look at any business decision, if you will, this is a component unit of TMWA in essence, and so we can model this out over the long term, and looking at that price, that starting price of 120 with a 1% escalator puts us in a position to return the investment that we need to make. I mean, we've detailed out a 30-year capital plan. So all of those factors went into it, and ultimately 1% gets us there. It makes them viable, continues the operation. And so then on the risk side, I'll just say financial liability, financial risk is certainly mitigated, and then some of the operational improvements maybe Ryan can touch on as far as how.
I think I was looking at the operational improvements.
You bet. So operationally, they're going to pay us for the power we produce. And there was a lot of discussion about, well, what happens when your facilities are down? And is TMWA going to, risk penalties when our projects come offline? Because there is a lot of risk, with these. As you've driven down 80 towards California, I'm sure you've seen the flumes along the hillside, and there's risk with those being up there. Snow events can bring those down, rock slides. We had the flume that used to run through the Mogul area. And as you guys may or may not remember, the earthquakes in 2008 sent a rock down. It destroyed that flume. So there's risk associated with these facilities. And with the current contract, they are going to pay us for the power we produce. If we don't produce power, they don't pay us. But we're not penalized if we're not producing as well. So that is something that we were really looking forward to and hoping we could get in this contract. And Switch was understanding of those concerns that we have. So that was one way. And force majeure, while it's in the contract, we don't feel like that, either entity is going to have to exercise that with this idea that they're just going to pay us for the power that we produce. We're not going to be penalized, and they won't be if we're not producing power as well. Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Mr. Anderson?
No question. I just want to say, Matt, as always, great job on the financial side of this. I appreciate likewise what you've been doing, and just kudos to the general manager for the willingness to look at this. And then lastly, Switch, I thank you for your partnership, because as you heard, I mean, here we're able to generate renewable energy, supply you, but you're working with us as a partner. So I appreciate that as well. Well done, everyone.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, this is an action item, and there is a motion in your packet. If anybody would like to entertain a motion at this time, that would be wonderful.
Move to approve, Madam Chair.
Okay, Ms. Hill,
Second?
second by Taylor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you for everyone for all your hard work. Thank you. We'll move now to item number 9, which is a presentation of the general manager goal results for contract year 2024 through 2025. Mr. Zimmerman.
Thank you, Chair Andriola. So just as for background, TMWA has 2 sets of goals. The goal results I'm talking about today are the general manager goals. In October, we'll talk about the overall TMWA organizational goals. Having said that, these general manager goal results are based on all the work from the directors and managers you see in the audience today, who are part of my team, and all of the teams that they lead within TMWA. So it's definitely a team effort getting these accomplished. In the interest of time, I'm not going to go over every goal, but please interrupt me if you have a question on the goal results as we've laid out in the packet. And like I said, in September, we'll go through the general manager goals for next year. And so keep in mind, if you have goals that you would like me to look at for next year, we can put them on for September. So first of all, goal A on the first page is, it talks about, it's really financials, capital improvement planning. I think, you all agree that Matt Bowman and Sophie Cardinale and the entire finance team do a really good job keeping us on stable financial footing. And then the CIP, the capital improvement projects, that's really a team effort led by a lot of people in engineering and throughout all the departments throughout the company. The next goal is communication. And Robert Charpentier, with the retirement of Andy Gebhardt, is really taking the laboring oar on our communications team, along with Cami Luray, our outside consultant, who do just a fantastic job keeping the community updated with water quality results, conservation efforts, American Flat, specific projects, One Water Nevada. And I can't say enough for the work that they do, a lot of it behind the scenes. On goal C, that's community presence. TMWA continues, as the board has directed us for since the beginning, be a leader in the water field within this region. We have staff busy with presentations every week. And, the Smart About Water Day is one of those events. In the summer, we had, really good participation. Thank you for the board members that attended. It's always a good event and really something that the community, I think, looks forward to and participates in. So it's good that we're creating those ambassadors of TMWA that can then go out in the community. We also took the opportunity to update the Pyramid Lake Paiute Tribe on the American Flat project. So Dr. Lydia Teal did a great job explaining that project, and we appreciate being invited to do that. We've also given tribal members tours of Chalk Bluff, and we continue to kind of foster and grow that relationship with the tribe. At the same time, we're also working with the tribe on resolving water right protests and disputes, because we all are stakeholders on the river, and so we have to go through those issues as well. I've continued to be actively involved in state, local, regional organizations on behalf of TMWA, just to, again, try to be that ambassador for TMWA, because I get to kind of cheerlead for TMWA and talk about all the good work that all these people do, and so it's very exciting, and I appreciate being able to do that. And then just myself as a leader, I continue to grow, continue to look for ways to improve my leadership and get more involvement in national organizations like the Association of Metropolitan Water Agencies that focus on executive water utility management, growth, and development. Excuse me. One other thing I've been proud of is just our fire response. We've talked about over the last year just how we respond to fires. But behind the scenes, you should know we're also talking with all the local fire agencies to try to get them to understand how our system operates, how they impact it when there's a fire, and also just to get that relationship established so when there is an emergency, we know who to call and they know who they're talking to on the other end of the line. We've done the same with NV Energy, because they have to shut off power in emergencies. They have to shut it off in, when there's fire weather, and those impact, as you've heard, all of our facilities because they're running on electricity. And so again, having NV Energy understand our system, helping us understand their system, and establishing those relationships has been huge for us. Goal D is about continuing to grow and develop, attract talented individuals, retain them, grow them within the company. And I think in June, you heard Jessica Atkinson, our HR director, talk about our new initiative about hire, inspire, admire, retire. And that really goes to those retirees, because we want them to continue to be informed about TMWA issues and be ambassadors for the community for TMWA. And we expend significant effort ensuring that all employees know about TMWA operations. We have 4 all-employee meetings every year. 2 of those are specifically dedicated to a presentation by a department on what they do for TMWA, how they operate, because we want employees to know what the functions are of other departments, how they fulfill our vision of delivering high-quality water every day, and then also just for them to be aware of opportunities in those other departments for job growth. And, we normally don't recognize or announce new hires at the manager level at the board meeting, but I would like to recognize someone in the audience, Raul Aviles, our new engineering manager. We also have Travis Bunkowski and Darren Garland. Those are 2 internal promotions to Travis with maintenance operations manager and Darren Garland with water operations. And many of you have seen or heard from Darren as he gives his tours of Chalk Bluff. He's a fount of knowledge. I'm also working with the management team just on leadership training to make sure we all understand that we're all leaders of this company. No one's, in my opinion, no one's a natural-born leader, and so we have to work on that. And so we've had 2 management training sessions this year, and we'll continue to do that as we go. And then, as I've said in the past, I continue to take employees as I can to lunch, probably once a week or twice a week, just a new employee, just to get to know them, talk to them, and lend them my ear, just so I can hear directly from them. And then continuous improvement, goal E. You heard a lot about our hydroelectric team. That really does go towards maximizing our revenue to minimize the cost impact to our customers. And I don't know if Ryan mentioned it, but July was our largest generation month in terms of revenue. So they broke another record, and they continue to do that. On the customer service side, Marcy Westlake, we're continuing to increase our paperless billing rate. So we've gone a little bit from 43% last year to 51% this year. We're currently internally looking at ways to increase that, because that really is a huge cost savings every year. It's up to saving about $560,000 a year. And we want to continue to increase that and look for ways to do that. And we'll report back to the board with those efforts as we go forward, because we also want to be sensitive to folks who continue to want to get paper bills. And then the next section kind of goes on to specific activities. So monitoring federal activities and funding opportunities, we continue to do that. Our external counsel, Steph Morris, works with our federal delegation to make sure we're front and center, talking about TMWA issues and funding opportunities. And then Mr. Raymond and I went to DC last April, just as part of the American Water Works Association's Water Week, to talk with our delegation, make them aware of what we're doing. We also gave Senator Cortez Masto's staffer a tour of the Chalk Bluff Water Treatment Plant last week. Goal E, minimizing cost to customers and maximizing revenue. That's hydroelectric, but that's also some creative things that Matt Bowman and his team have done. So with the Ore Ditch Pump Station, they're looking at $1.3 million, and they're pursuing additional funding for that project in the range of $3 to $5 million. So anything will help. And then moving on to specific objectives. So the TRI, General Improvement District, we continue to work with them on managing the water rights and working with the tribe to resolve issues, to resolve TROA issues with accounting of those water rights and return flow credits, so that the water going from Tum Wharf to Trigid is made up with other water rights in the river, so the downstream users are made whole. And so over the past years, I think I've spoke about it in the past, we really tried to increase our involvement with the tribe and their water team, their attorney, just so they know what we're doing, have input, and are not surprised or caught off guard by anything we're planning to do up here. American Flat, huge kudos to our team for that. I mean, we continue to push that towards the goal line. It's a slow, arduous process. Thank our partners at City of Reno for helping do that as well. We continue to provide guidance and technical support to the regional effluent management team as they look at wastewater regionalization, the Raft Ellis study. We continue to lend our input there. And then fringe area development, and I think there are a few members of the River Oak community that are here today. That's a system that's provided water by the Verdi Meadows Utility Company. And over probably the last 4 years, I think, Commissioner Director Hill and I have been keeping up to date on the process that the Public Utilities Commission is doing with that utility. And I think the latest is that the Public Utilities Commission staff recommend that Verde Meadows Utility Company make a wholesale connection to TMWA system. So that would be one point where we would supply water to their system. VMUC, that utility, would then take that water and provide it to their customers internally. And so I'll continue to keep the board updated as that progresses. We believe in October, the commission will make a decision on what to do. And then it's up to Verde Meadows Utility Company to follow that direction from the PUC and determine next steps. So I'll keep the board updated on that as we go forward. And like any fringe area development, we try to provide as much input and expertise as possible. At the same time, it's up to those smaller utilities to work with us and tell us where they want to go, what direction they want. Succession planning, we continue to spend a lot of time on that. I feel like we've somewhat backfilled our bench strength a little bit with some of the new hires and promotions we've had, so we'll continue to go forward with that. And then lastly, just touching on the 2025, 2045 Water Resource Plan, Eddie Qualieri, Cara Steeland, Nick White, John Enlow, and a bunch of other members of the entire organization, but the Natural Resource Department really spent a lot of time on that, and we'll come forward with input in September, and then look for board final approval in October. And with that, Chair Andriella, I'll end and take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Director Zimmerman?
I don't have any questions. I really appreciate the work that you have been doing for TMWA in the community, and I do see the efforts you're making of getting TMWA out there and making sure that people know that we're a resource for them. And I really appreciate the constant contact that you've had with me and the River Oak community. And I know that it's a slow process, and I really appreciate us just continuing to engage and seeing how we can support communities who deserve amazing TMWA water. And we want to make sure we can do that wherever it's possible, and it makes financial sense for everyone involved. So thank you for your dedication to the organization, and I think these are great goals, so thank you.
Thank you, Director Hill. Appreciate it.
So are there any other comments or questions? Yes.
I'll just make a quick comment. I think on the regional boards that I am fortunate enough to sit on, we have excellent professional experience in all of our region, and theirs is no exception at TMWA. So I'm very appreciative of everything that you and your team do. We saw that you're a very small and mighty team in some of your departments, and that is much appreciated for your efficiency and your expertise. And my responsibility is to make sure that you have all the resources that you need to be successful in your team. So please let us know how we can support you in any way. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Appreciate that.
Thank you. I would also like to echo the highlights of several things that you mentioned. And I think the opportunity of having the cross-functional department meetings and everyone truly understanding what each other does makes for a stronger organization. So thank you for your leadership on that. I also think that what comes out of that are even ideas that maybe when you're so close to things and silos need to be broken down in terms of really effective communication and really having efficiencies in place. And even the point of the paperless going from 43 to 51 and the amount of savings that may seem small in the bigger picture, but 500,000 here and 500,000 there, and then next thing you know, there's opportunities that maybe people aren't even aware of. And so I think keeping a very open dialogue in the organization creates that culture of an open door policy, essentially. So thank you for your leadership, and thanks for outlining the goals. Thanks for including the new item on 15 in terms of the water resource plan, which we actually saw today. Anything else? So we are going to now move to item number 10, which is discussion and possible direction from the board regarding the evaluation process for conducting the general manager's performance evaluation. Ms. Atkinson. And this is for possible action. So thank you and welcome.
Thank you. Good morning. For the record, Jessica Atkinson. In front of you for discussion and potential action is the board packet pertaining to the general manager's performance evaluation for fiscal year 2025. Mr. Zimmerman's contract with the board requires that the board conduct an annual performance evaluation. So each year, we bring this agenda item to you to have you look at the process and the survey instrument and the timelines and discuss that and approve us moving forward. So attached in your packet is the performance feedback survey. It's very similar to what we've used in the prior years. It has the same 7 rating categories as probably the last 4 years in a row. Those are organizational leadership, relations with board/governance, communication skills, relations with community and stakeholders, management of staff, personal effectiveness, and an overall rating and general comments section. The feedback rating scale for each category includes options for exceeds, meets, area for growth, and not applicable, and then each category is followed by an open comment field to allow you opportunity to provide additional feedback should you wish to do so. This year's survey is really pretty much the same as last year's survey with just 2 real minor tweaks. One of those is that we added an opportunity for respondents to indicate their role. So you can indicate whether you are a board of director or you are one of John's direct reports. This will allow us, when we come back and present the results to you, to kind of segment it by role so that you can look at that a little different than we have in prior years. And then when the survey is sent out via SurveyMonkey, there will be a link in the actual survey to the results that John just went through with you guys, so that you have it as a refresher, something to look back on as you're actually filling out the survey. So if approved today, the survey would be distributed starting as soon as tomorrow, with a deadline to submit the surveys by September 5th. This gives us a full 16-day period of time for board members and John's direct reports to participate in the survey, and then get those results tabulated and put into a staff report so that we could turn around and bring that back to you during the September 17th board meeting. And that's the actual meeting where you'll have that data and you'll conduct the formal performance appraisal in public on him. So with that, I'll take any questions or comments.
Thank you, Ms. Atkinson. I actually would like to throw out to the board an opportunity for consideration, and I have spoken with Ms. Atkinson and the general manager and even legal counsel, just in terms of full transparency. I have had the opportunity to look at other agencies and looking at evaluations, and I really feel that there's consideration could be given to adding one. So if we could just go back to the, each category includes a rating scale with the following options: exceeds expectations, meets expectations, area for growth, and not applicable. One of the things I'm going to ask the board to consider is adding an unacceptable, because I believe that the differentiation between area for growth versus unacceptable is different. And I think that rating is important, and it has nothing to do, again, with directing this to anyone personally. I think that having that score or that category, including the rating scale, really clarifies those distinctions. So I also think the not applicable, which I know it's semantics, but unable to score because you haven't been able to observe it. And I'll take my example for myself. So when I was appointed to a board, my very first meeting was about doing an evaluation. I couldn't. So it wasn't not applicable. Each one of these categories are applicable to the job, and the evaluation is not being able to observe it. So I know they're getting into semantics here, but I'm asking for consideration to add a rating scale of unacceptable, which essentially means you're dissatisfied, and changing non-applicable to unable to score based on being able to not observe the specific category, performance categories. So if there's any other discussion or any questions, those are my proposed changes. Hearing none, I guess I'll entertain a motion to include those two changes at this time.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Okay. We have a motion from Ms. Hill. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second. Does Ms. Dorr want to add anything?
Yeah, I just had a comment. I
Okay.
support the motion. I support the motion, but also, in the past, I think I've discussed this, having an opportunity to save your work as you're going through the review and preparing your comments is often helpful. We all get interrupted and distracted from time to time, and I don't know if that's a possibility.
Trying to turn my microphone on. For the record, Jessica Atkinson and the Survey Monkey Institute.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Okay, there we go. I got the green light. For the record, Jessica Atkinson and Ms. Dewar, the Survey Monkey instrument should allow you to stop and start and pick up where you left off. It's just once you do that final submit button, then that's the point of no return.
Okay, so in another organization where we're doing these reviews, I had asked for a way that we could print out our submittal so that we have it with us when we come to do the oral review. And I think they replied the same as you, but they also said that they thought there could be a PDF version that you could print. But anyway, I'm just asking if you could check in with that on SurveyMonkey. The only other way I know to do it is print each page as you go through.
Yes, I have set the SurveyMonkey up, and I did trigger an option within that to email it back to you. I'm going to send it a little different than what I've done before. Usually the email comes from me directly, but sending it through SurveyMonkey directly allows me the ability to check a box that asks once you hit submit that your submission be emailed to you.
Oh, that is great. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Atkinson, for all your hard work. We'll move now to the general manager's report.
Thank you, Chair Andriola. Just real briefly, so just wanted to give kudos to Diana in our call center. Marcy Westlake's not here today, but we had a customer that Diana actually sent a letter to just of condolences because of what she was going through. And this customer actually came in with flowers and a card because she thought the person was actually physically present at TMWA. And so it was just a very moving moment, and it just shows that even our call center reps are very good at customer service. In your packet, I also included a letter or a handwritten note from a customer to us about our heavy foreman, Kirk Nordmeyer. So just wanted to share that with you. And then also just announce that Bill Hauk is retired, and so Cara Steeland will be taking over the water supply updates for you as we head into the fall and the winter season. And really thanks to the team, Eddie Qualieri, Nick White, Lauren Jones, Ben Bardette, all the natural resource team for really stepping up and filling some pretty big shoes in what Bill was taking on every day. So thank you, and obviously we recognize and appreciate all the time and effort Bill spent at TMWA over the years. One update from the June meeting was with our service line warranty program. So Marcy immediately reached out to them after that board meeting and talked with them about ways they can make it a better process. And so they've agreed to make their logo front and center so they know it's not a TMWA official mailing. Also, that'll clarify the relationship and put a little note in there. They've also reduced their mailing frequency to help out with that a bit. And then also make it more clear for customers to have an opt-out if they don't want to receive any future mailings. And so I'll keep you posted as that progresses. And then lastly, I wanted to say, please try to make the October board meeting. That's our strategy session. It's a 4-hour session. It's on your calendar from 10 to 2. In the past, I say it at this board meeting because in the past 2 years, we've only had 4 board members able to make it. And I completely understand if board members can't make it. But having only 4 board members there the last 2 years, I feel like there's a bit of a gap, and I want to make sure we get as many board members as possible. So thank you.
Can you remind us of that date, please?
October 15th.
That's what I thought. I wrote down October 15th, so maybe just you know, it used to be repeating 3 times, that was enough, and in this world of information age, I'm not going to spend the time repeating it, the average of now 7 to 11, but we'll just say October 15th was repeated 7 times with enthusiasm for everyone to attend the October 15th meeting.
And we will provide lunch.
I think that was 4. I really want to say thank you to Mr. Hauk for all of his hard work, but I do think that attending the employee picnic, Mr. Zimmerman, it's not an official goal to put on your performance, but he has to take over Mr. Hauk's responsibility, right, for cooking.
No, that's Mr. Gebhardt's.
Oh, Mr.
But-
Gebhardt,
But we've
whoever it
recruited
was.
Mr. Gebhardt back.
Oh, well, I tried to talk him into, was there something hidden so that he can make his famous, you know, broad choices of wonderful, wonderful courses. And I saw that he said you were in training, so you got it?
It's my apprenticeship.
All right,
It's
you
a
got it.
Multi-year
Okay.
apprenticeship.
I would encourage everyone to attend. I apologize, I got people's names wrong. There's so many talented people, I can't remember everybody's name. But I also want to just, again, is anybody anybody comments or any questions? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and close that item and move to public comment. Do we have any public comment? Come on down. Thank you. Hi, welcome. How are you? So just procedurally, if you would be so kind to state your name.
Okay. It's Pamela Baker.
Great.
and I live in Verdi in the River Oak Division. And I'm here to, I guess, ask for help with the Verdi utility water company that we've dealt with. I've lived there for 24 years, and it's gotten to the point where it's just ridiculous. We have a lot of retired people in there. We've been told that it's going to cost millions of dollars to do what Verdi Meadows wants us to do. And we need help. We've got to get rid of this guy. I don't know how to say it. I know he's the owner, but we've never seen him. We've never talked to him in the 24 years I've been there. And poor Tim, he's the one that's taken the brunt. He's the manager. It's falling apart. We never know what's going to happen at anyone's house. The pipes break. Well, then, if the pipes break, we're responsible. They've tagged on maintenance fees on top of the water bill. And we've even paid, up to $50 extra a month for engineers to come in and look at our system. And yes, it's old, but we've paid for that. We paid for that before. It's been 40 years. So I'm just asking for you to consider helping us to where we can not have to worry about if we want to sell our house. No one's going to buy the house if there's $1 million or so lien against it. So I'm just here to ask for help. And I am new on the board there, the HOA board. So I guess I was elected to come. But anyway, please consider Verdi and River Oak. Any kind of compromise or help of any kind would be greatly appreciated. We're at a wit's end, and we don't feel like paying millions of dollars and it stay the same way. If they're owners and they have control of our water, we're messed up. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I know that Commissioner Hill and the general manager are aware of it, so thanks, and maybe we can continue to get updates on that. Thank you. We have,
Chair,
yes.
I've also been working with Ms. Hill and Mr.
Okay,
Zimmerman.
Sorry. And Ms.
No, that's
Dorr,
fine.
thank
Just
you.
wanted to let you know, make sure you know. And we have met several times. Most recently, I was supposed to circle back with them about 2 weeks ago, a meeting I had to postpone. But I think all three of us are exquisitely aware of the challenges this community is facing.
Well, we have the three right people on the job, so thank you. We have another submittal by Ms. Dummett. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing the name correctly. Bev? Did you want, you don't have to, but I have a card. You can if you'd like. No, you don't have to. There's not a requirement, no. But you're welcome to. I just want to give you an opportunity.
Put us on the agenda for next month. Okay?
Well, we'll certainly look at that. All right. Do we have any other further public comment?
Anyone online, please raise your hand if you'd like to speak. No one at this time, Chair.
Okay, great. We'll go ahead and close public comment and move now to board comments and requests for future addenda. I'm Ms. Hill.
Thank you. And in response to the River Oak community, I've been thinking, racking my brain about this situation that the community is in and how TMWA can help. And I'm wondering, can we have legal look at whether there are laws about predatory utilities or anything like that, and have a report back and see if there's anything we can pursue with the AG's office? I just don't know how more we can help, knowing that it's going to the PUC in October. We want to help you with the wholesale piece, but I know that there's so many other elements to the infrastructure in your community, and how in many ways it feels like the water utility is not investing back in your community, even though you're paying towards that. So I don't know if there's anything we can protect you on. And so I was just thinking, is there another avenue we could look at?
I can talk to Mr. Zimmerman. I would have to take a look at the Verdi docket with the PUCN. Typically, the Bureau of Consumer Protection is involved in those dockets as well, and they are from the AG's office. So I can work with Mr. Zimmerman, and we can possibly bring something back in the future.
That would
That's
be
what the board
great.
wants.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll look forward to getting that analysis and maybe even some recommendations as you see fit. So thank you. Any other comments? I have one. On October 15th, I'm now to 5, if I go 2 more, for October 15th, that we will have met the statistical retention that is needed now, with October 15th being the date that everyone is going to put on their calendar for slotting 4 hours of their time, which I know is precious. We all have busy schedules, but I know we all value how important this work is and all the dedication of the talented staff that are here to support it. So we'll see everyone on October 15th. And now I've done 8. So any other comments? We're going to go ahead and close the board comments and move to adjournment at 11:12. Thank you.